Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Gracie from the Dig team, and this is video 6 of your Dig data tutorial. And so today we're going to be wrapping up our work in Google Sheets and moving to the CODAP app. And so what we want to do to make that happen is export some of this data as a CSV file so we can then use it in CODAP. And so I'm still in my same Google Sheet. I'm on my annual averages page, and what I want to do is export all of this data as a CSV. And so to make that happen, first I am going to delete our lovely chart that we made, having already downloaded it, so it's saved somewhere else. And then what I'm going to do, click the File button, click the Download button in this dropdown, and then I'm going to scroll until I see CSV. And one thing to note, CSV files don't use these tabs that we have at the bottom of our sheet. And so when I click the CSV download button, it's only going to download as a CSV the current tab, current page that I'm on. So once I click that, it will generate one of just the annual averages. Alright, so with our CSV downloaded, I'm going to navigate to the CODAP page, and so that can be found in the Dig It data tutorial worksheet, which is linked in the description. And once I get to this landing page, I'm going to click this button in the top right corner that says Launch CODAP, and that will open a new CODAP document for me to work in. So, here's what I want to do. First, I'm going to click Create a New Document, and that will open up this blank worksheet for me. I'm going to click on the untitled document in the top and rename it just so I know what I'm working on. If I ever need to reopen this, I'm going to call this Seattle Weather Data. And so the way CODAP works is it's kind of this blank sandbox that we can use for data analysis and visualization. And so the first thing that we have to do when we are working with CODAP is to import our data. And so to make that happen, I'm going to click on the 3 bars drop-down menu in the top left. I'm going to click Import, and then here you can do it via local file or URL. I have this in my downloads here, so I'm going to just drag and drop that into this. Once that happens, we can see that it populates this new table, which is the same data that we had in our Excel sheet, now just opened up in CODAP. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Great, and so we can see here that everything transferred properly. Each row is a year, and then we have the average, maximum, minimum, and interpolated temperature. And so the first thing I want to do in CODAP is recreate that same time series that we did in Google Sheets where we plotted the annual interpolated temperature, annual average minimum temperature, and annual average maximum temperature. And so to make a graph in CODAP, we want to navigate up to this little toolbar in the top left-hand corner. We're going to click Graph, and it's going to open up this blank document. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And so to add our data, we kind of do a click and drag process. So for our y-axis, we're going to start with tint. So I'm going to hover over my average of tint column, and when it lights up as like blue and underline, I'm going to click and drag it until this y-axis box turns yellow, and then I'm going to drop it there. Okay, so we can see that's all populated in. It's plotting as like a density chart right now, which is not what we want. So to make the time series, we can add our date. And so I'm going to click and drag date here to the x-axis box. And now we can see that each scatter plot point is an annual average of tint. And so to customize this, we can use the toolbar on the right-hand side of the CODAP graph box. And so clicking on the ruler, if we click Show Connecting Lines, it adds the lines to our scatter plot, which make it a little bit easier for us to interpret. We can also calculate a least squares line really easily, which shows us the general trend of the data. And so if I click that, we can see that the least squares line is kind of this upward sloping line with an r-squared of 0.4. And so that does show us kind of this general trend of warming in Seattle over our selected time series. Okay, so I'm going to remove the least squares line for now, since we're going to now add some other series to this graph. So just remove it, just unclick it, uncheck that box. To add another series to a CODAP graph, I'm going to select that column in the table and drag it. You'll see if I do this, it'll say replace average with average of t-min. That's not what I want, so what I want to do is drop it onto this little plus button on the top so that we can see the top part of the screen turn yellow. Then I'm going to drop it there, and now we can see it has added t minimum as a new series with a different color. So we'll repeat that process of dragging the t max column up to the top where the plus button is, and then now we have our 3 lines showing our different series of temperature for this station. In the next video, we're going to go over how to import and map spatial data in CODAP. So join us next time for that in the DIG tutorial series.